today. Jeez. Welcome to another episode of Ask Jay, and I am him, Jay Morrison, aka Stewart. It's me, my hot coffee, the plant. We're back. Let's get it. So Ask Jay, I answer off a rapid fire of questions that are free real estate and mortgage advice. Ask me anything. Hashtag Ask Jay. First question: how do you properly buy a subject to property? For those who don't know, a subject to property is when a buyer takes over the mortgage for a seller. You literally take over their payment and take over their contract with the bank. To properly do this, you're supposed to get approval from the bank and introduce a new borrower to the equation, and the bank would qualify that borrower and it would take over your mortgage terms. Why would someone want to take over someone else's mortgage? Because that person may have a low interest rate, great terms, only several years left as opposed to starting with a new 30-year mortgage, right? Mainly the interest rate or the term. The way it's typically done, people take over other people's mortgages. They never tell the bank. Now, a bank can force the homeowner, the current homeowner, the seller, the bank can force them to pay off their loan in full if the bank ever finds out they brought someone else new in their ownership position and someone else is now their contractee. The bank has a contract with the owner through a mortgage agreement. And if you break that mortgage agreement, the bank does have rights if they find out about your quiet subject to purchase. Something to look out for right there. Have you ever come across a property that was clearly haunted? I am fresh in my Friday the 13th hoodie. And no, I ran across some creepy properties. Some property has some dead rodents. Some properties that definitely have some dead bodies, but never anything that I felt spiritually haunted. Thank God for me. How do I determine the accurate tenant to move in, pay rent on time every month without excuses? How do you get accurate, or better, I guess maybe the term is, how do you get an efficient or qualified tenant to pay on time? Tenants are just human beings like all of us, and they have life issues, life be life. And so you may get issues from time to time with your tenant. How do you find a responsible tenant? All in your interviewing process. Checking the referrals of past landlords of the tenant, checking their credit to see how they're responsible with their other bills, even if they have bankruptcies or other things on their credit, but looking at the responsibility pattern of their credit, looking at their work history, right? Even personality tests, any of those things can help you get a more qualified tenant, but mostly looking at their work history, what kind of resources they have, and how they carry themselves, and how they've carried themselves in the past with prior landlords. What is your approach to risk-taking? Here's my quote on risk-taking. If there's little to lose, but a lot to gain, why not try? Why do we talk ourselves out of things like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to these 3 banks or these 3 lenders today. Oh, well, I don't know, they might pull my credit score. Okay, they pull your credit score. Get a little inquiry, which an inquiry can be disputed and deleted anyway. But you get an inquiry in your credit report. What is that to lose compared to what you can gain getting a $100,000 or $500,000 loan? Why do we let little things deter us from big gains? I never do that. If there's a little bit to lose, but a lot to gain, I always try. The only time you don't try is when the amount of what you got to lose is very close to what you got to gain, and it's like, what if you got a lot to gain, but a small, come on, I already said it, do better. How do you use real estate to retire at 60 or 65? Here's how you use real estate to retire at 60 or 65 years old. First step is you add up how much monthly income you need to retire and live your dream or sufficient lifestyle. So let's say you need $120,000 a year to retire. That means you need $10,000 a month. So we reverse engineer from $10,000 a month. Here's what you do. Take the average net operating income of a rental unit, let's say for about $350 to $375. Let's call it $375. So if you can make profit, even $350, if you can make profit $350 per rental unit. So we're gonna take $10,000 a month you need to retire, divided by $350 profit in your rental unit after paying taxes, insurance, property management, all that. That would mean you would need 28 and a half rental unit in order for you to make 10 at $350 profit per rental unit to make $10,000 a month. Now you work backwards off of this number. If you need 28 units and you're 42 years old like me, but you want to retire when you're 62 years old, you would take 28 units divided by the 20 years you got left till retiring, and that would mean I would need 1.4 units per year to have 28 units paying me $350 a year by the time I want to retire at 62. So again, find out how much monthly income you need, need, divide that by $350 per month of profit. That will let you know how many units you need, and divide how many units you would need by how many years you have till retirement. That will let you know how many units per year you would need. Obviously, you can just go out and get a 28 unit at one swap, or 214 units like we've done in the past, or even 100 units. You can buy multifamily in bulk, or you can buy it in single family doses, or duplexes, triplexes, whatever your unit mix is. You can literally can reverse engineer your way into retiring. How do I know my property's value if I can't find any comps? All right, so for those who don't know, comps are comparables. It's how you find the price of residential real estate. It's the average sales price, 3 homes within 1 square mile that's sold within 6 months. Sold, not listed. If you can't find any comps, you have this unique property or there's just nothing sold in your area, you can always extend past that 1 square mile, but that can get a little dicey, right, with appraisers. Another way to do it is what's called the square footage approach. You take your property, right, or you take a property that has sold, even if you can find one, and then you find out the square footage of that property. Let's call it 3,000 square feet, right? So we get our calculator phones out. So say you got a property that's 3,000 square feet, and that property sold for $425,000. So you're gonna take $425,000. So take the sales price of any home, divide it by its square footage, 3,000 square feet. That means it sold for $141 per square foot. So just say you can only find one comp, but really you need 3 comps to really get an average sales price. You can take the average square footage of a home, 141 a square foot, and now multiply that times your home. So let's say this home was 141 a square foot at 3,000 square feet, similar to your property. Well, let's say your property is 3,150 square feet. So let's say 141 square feet times 3,150 square feet, your property size, and you could say that your property would sell for $446,000 based on the square footage approach. So if you can't find multiple comps in your area, find a strong, very, very similar property in comp, and then divide the square footage of that property, or the purchase price of that square property, by its square footage. And multiply the price per square foot times your square footage, and you'll get your property value at the square footage approach. Big game, real game. All right, bet. Do you think there will be a breaking point in rents as interest rates continue to climb? If so, what would that look like? I don't think there's a breaking point in rents. I think rents will continue to climb and even increase over the next year, even more accelerated, because there's more tenants in the market than ever before, and there's less properties for tenants to rent, especially with a lot of properties being taken up for Airbnb and short-term rental. You have voucher tenants, disability tenants, veteran tenants, single mom. You have all kinds of affordable housing programs. Then you have market rate tenants. You have the people that can't buy homes now because interest rates are too high, cost of living is too high. The market of tenants, AKA customers, are in full-fledged and full demand, and I don't see rental dipping, decreasing, or stabilizing for any time soon. There's too much demand. The demand is going to drive the increase of our rental rate. It always does, always will. Supply and demand, oldest game in the book. One last question for Ask Jay today, and that is, where do you go to find network with like-minded investors who are serious? I know I've answered that question before, but I'll give it again. I got one more bonus. Just Google research. We have our community, of course, right? The real estate roadmap, top notch in the country. You can literally Google on any platform, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, and find investor community, especially in LinkedIn groups, Facebook group, and or local RIAs, real estate investment groups, or ARAB or NARAB, or trillions of. Just Google your city and real estate group. Thank you all again for giving me the opportunity to drop some gems, drop some game. I know it's some bars somewhere in here. Welcome to another episode of Ask Jay. Make sure you like the channel, thumbs up, hit that button, subscribe to the channel so we get our subscriber base up and can share more of this info throughout the World Wide Web. Comment, let us know your question with the hashtag AskJ, and we want you to share. That's right, share to family, friends, and others. More game and their opportunity to get free real estate and mortgage advice right here at AskJ. If you want our mentorship, our entry-level program, our advanced mentorship, or our free monthly webinars, I want you guys to click one of the links below, tap on into the ecosystem where we do this real estate game, this thing called landlording, Lord of Land at the highest level. We look forward to empowering you, serving you, and seeing you on the next episode of SJ in real life.